Okay, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this afternoon's Cloudteam webinar. The topic of today's webinar is Asperato, a payment solution for Salesforce, which is always everybody in finance's favorite topic, which is about how to get money back into the business and make it easier for your customers to pay you. So over the next 45 minutes, we're going to take a look over the Asperato solution. I'm really pleased to say I'm joined by our good friends at Asperato. We'll have a look at their solution and how it complements the Financial Force offering too. So a quick run through the agenda. In a second, I'll give a quick introduction to the people that are going to be hosting the webinar, both from Cloudteam and Asperato side. We'll have a quick look at the background of the two companies. Then Nick from Asperato is going to give us a high-level solutions overview. And then Ralph from Cloudteam will give us a live demo of the solution. And then we'll wrap up with a quick look at a customer success story from Asperato and some Q&A at the end. Usual bits of admin, we are recording today's session. We will share the recording with all registrants, and of course you'll be able to find a link to it on both the Cloudteam and Asperato websites. And if you do have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat box and we will pick them up at the end. So quick intro to the people that are on the call. So from Cloudteam side, you've got myself, Stefan Meadley. I'm the sales manager with Cloudteam Company. I'm joined by my colleague, Ralph Hartendorf, co-founder and principal consultant. He'll be walking us through the live demo of the Asperato solution. From Asperato side, we've got Nick Chaff, the CEO and co-founder of Asperato. Matt Tully, head of sales and partnerships, and Pierre Nwama, head of channel and alliances. And Pierre, I really wish I'd checked how we pronounce your surname before we came to this webinar, so I hope that was okay for you. So a quick bit of background on Cloudteam Company. We were established in 2014, primarily as an implementer of Financial Force solutions, supporting the Benelux market. As of today, we're about 35 people in 2 different offices, the main office in Breda, the Netherlands, and the UK office in Harrogate, which fortunately for me is a stone's throw away from Financial Force's EMEA headquarters. As of today, we've supported Financial Force with around about 150 projects. And we're pleased to say we have about 85 customers all in different parts of the globe. And we're the first EMEA-based partner to sign up as an official reseller of Financial Force products. And as you can see, as of today, we are recognized as the #1 EMEA partner for Financial Force. And a cool little fact about Cloudteam is out of a team of 35 people, we represent 10 different nationalities, which is something that we're quite proud of. And on the next slide, I'm going to hand you over to the guys from Asperato, who are going to give you a little bit of background about their company.
Thank you, Stefan. Well, getting paid can be difficult and frustrating, and we all know that. And what's the point of the lead to cash process if you cannot collect payment at the end or during the process? So collecting payment is essentially what we do, because we know that revenue is not revenue until it's paid. So we put Salesforce in control of the payment collection process, and that allows customers to transform the way they get paid. So Asperato has a long history in this space, and we've been delivering our solution for more than 10 years. We come with a lot of credibility, experience, and reach. And as a Salesforce ISV partner, we offer the most advanced payment collection application on the Salesforce platform. So today we have processed over vast amount of payment. We are PCI level 1 compliant, and we're in a great position to help companies get paid. Together with Financial Force, we enable organizations to collect one-off and or recurring payment from all over the world, regardless of the processor, currency, or method of payment method. We're very proud that more than 300 merchants across multiple verticals trust us, because we put Salesforce and therefore Financial Force platform in control of the payment collection process. But they also trust us because we bring an open network of payment processors that customers want to use, and that range from credit, debit card, local debit card scheme like SEPA, Bax, Bex, Adyen, Stripe, etc., to name a few. And this Ready app that you will see today has been built and is maintained by Financial Force. And it brings a lot of benefit to many areas of business. If we take operation, we have customer experience, cross-department efficiency and automation, overall cost control. When it comes to the technical team, we know that reducing complexity, increasing security and platform compatibility matter. And then finally, if we look at finance, we can see things like single source of truth, DSO, cash flow improvement, or compliant risk management. We believe that in order to thrive in today's digital global market space, you need Asperato. And this Ready app for Financial Force is the de facto choice to help you get paid on time. Now, let us explain what payment collection with Financial Force means. Nick?
Thank you, Pierre. Yeah, so I think, you know, really we want to sort of demonstrate to you guys that, you know, payment collection with Financial Force with Salesforce is about covering everything across your sort of lead to cash journey. So whether you're saving payments in advance for future billing, whether you're taking card payments, whether you're taking direct debit payments, pay now buttons on invoices, all of these kind of things, you want to enable that on the Financial Force platform. So what I'm going to do is just take a look at an overview of the platform and what Asperato, Financial Force and Salesforce, how we work together. So if we can just grab the next slide. You know, give that one a click. So Salesforce, as we all understand, this is where you get your full platform benefits. This is where you want to control all of your automation and your customer journey. And what we're going to do then is we're then going to, with our application, the Asperato application, you're going to install that into your org. And what that does is that brings all of your platform and customer-centric payment collections onto the platform. So everything you want to do to enable a payment collection from the platform, whether that's tokenizing a card, setting up a direct debit mandate, you'll be able to do that with the Asperato application. The next step is you're adding Financial Force, and that is bringing you everything that you know and love around customer-centric ERP, account management, financial accounts management, etc. And what we have with the Ready app, if you want to give me a click there, is essentially an application that's built, tested and maintained by Financial Force that brings Asperato and Financial Force together. So it ensures that there's a kind of no-code approach to ensuring that Financial Force is fully equipped with all the payment collection functionality that Asperato brings to the platform. And I think that's just important to stress, because this is an application built and owned by Financial Force, and it brings all of our functionality directly into that those core Financial Force solutions. So if we go on to the next slide, please, Stefan. Essentially, you know, what are we looking at here? We're looking at an integration that you can use. We're looking at an integration that means that you don't need to go anywhere near the sort of WorldPay or Stripe or Adyen or Go Cardless APIs. You're essentially getting all of that compatibility with that package. So you're getting a code-free solution. You're getting a solution that is secure, it's compliant in terms of scheme rules, it's compliant in terms of PCI, and it's been tested thoroughly by both Asperato, Financial Force and Salesforce through security review, and we offer therefore that really high level of security that you need. We're also aligned to future releases. So prior to the Asperato Financial Force Ready app solution, businesses were essentially building either one-off integrations or integrations to deal with certain parts of a payment collection journey. And what we're doing here is making sure that at all times, every time Financial Force makes a release, every time Asperato makes a release, these two solutions are compatible without additional work. And the great thing about this is it means that it can be configured and made relevant to your own business journeys, regardless of what type of industry you're in, by Cloudteam. So because it is a declarative approach to configuration, and because there's clear sets of documentation and instruction around how the two work together, you can rely on your implementation partner to really make it work for you guys. And that's really what's making it become the fast, the recommended solution for the platform. So in terms of what you actually get, the purpose of this webinar really is to give you a little bit of an insight into what comes out of the box. How do these things actually work, and how do you start realizing the benefits of, quicker cash collection, reduced errors, fewer manual processes? Well, it all comes down to enabling some of the core functions and features within the Financial Force solution. So, for example, it's really easy for you guys to instantly connect your preferred payment provider. And as you saw on a slide earlier from Pierre, your payment providers might be GoCardless, it might be WorldPay, Stripe, Bottomline, Braintree, really doesn't matter. What you need to be able to do is, in Financial Force, you need to be able to connect those payment providers to Salesforce without needing to go near any code, and that's what you can do. And then within Financial Force, you need to be able to configure those processes against your bank accounts and your companies. So whether you're a single company using Financial Force or multiple, you want to be able to control where your money goes, which bank accounts the money actually deposit into, and also which you're actually reconciling to inside Financial Force. And all of that comes as documented process. You'll be able to save payment methods against accounts. So this is an absolute critical step in making your payment collection more efficient. So the ability to say to your customer, hey, can we capture a payment method from you? Can we use it for future billing? This is super important, and you'll be able to do that direct from your own customer accounts, store it there securely, and even have multiple payment methods. So they might be able to provide you with card details for payment. They might be able to provide you with ACH details in the US. The next one is around the ability to just turn on or off auto cash collection and auto cash matching. So when your invoices are posted, you get the choice of whether you want to just go ahead and collect on a specified date, and when a collection is successful, you want to be able to match that against your invoices so that you can match the payment to the invoice and then kick off a process that is that successful payment process. And within the package that has been built, you have that ability to control whether you do that all the time or some of the time, depending on what products or what services you're selling it. Really important part of what we offer. The next thing is around pay now buttons on invoices. Often the sort of the headline benefit of something like this, but it really is just, it's a small part of a successful payment collection service. But yes, customers want to be able to pay easily and quickly when you distribute your invoices, and we enable you to put those pay now buttons on really easily. You want to be able to take payments over the phone if your customer is not able to use the e-commerce process, or via links that you can send out in emails or text or chatbots, etc. All of that functionality built into the solution. We also enable self-serve billing via communities. So as many of you know, Financial Force have a communities solution to allow customers to see outstanding invoices, bills, and what we've enabled you to do is to add those pay now buttons and ability to capture payment methods direct from those communities, again, without any real heavy lifting from your side. And of course, within the card payment environment, we're giving you that PCI DSS level 1, so that highest level of security that you can have around card payments. So we cover everything from the payment, what we call the checkout screen, so the screens that are actually capturing all those card details already come out of the box, functional within the solution. Those are some of the things that come straight out. You'll be able to see that from documentation. You'll see it from Financial Force demos. And I think really Cloudteam just wanted to kind of walk you through some of these bits and pieces, and hopefully also give you a bit of a view on what they make of this sort of integration based on what exists now, what's been there in the past, and really just show you how some of those features work. So I'm going to hand you back to Cloudteam. We're the product builder. We're not the implementation consultants. We're not the ones with that deep insight of how customers want to use Financialforce. That is Cloudteam. So, gonna let them take that away and walk you through some of those features.
Thank you, Nick. So it's up to me now to actually show what has been presented before. So if I can share my screen, then I will be able to give you the details of the, let's say the integration has been already, all the features have been discussed. And I think by, the way it's been already completely embedded into Financialforce, it shows really the way it could ideally work together and smoothen the whole payment process. So I started with this the screen, and as it comes together with the installation, there's a kind of an Asperato 1 app already created in order to group together some of the topics that we would like to demo. For setting up the system, it's quite easy actually. There's a kind of an Asperato setup button that will activate actually the configuration based on the custom settings that we have to set up. And you can see that actually, if it's green, of course, you see that it's been completely active, it will work. And then you can show the connections that are already set up for this demo org. So you see that Stripe and Go Cardless have been identified for different currencies in order to connect them with the correct PSP connection. Just a little bit of behind the scene, the custom settings, you will be able to create some optional things like, for example, do you want to create automatically the cash processing? Do you want to create cash entries at the same time? Do you prevent partial payments? There's a kind of an image that you can configure, which is actually this Pay Now button, which we will show later. And there's a kind of a notification to the user whenever you start a batch, which process actually all the payments itself. But that's more behind the scene. What we normally want to do is actually how we will set up the system. So in setting up, as Nick already mentioned, you will be able on the bank account then to identify a bank account and link it to an Asperato customer ID. But it's an optional thing that you can leave blank. So there's this additional field on the bank account, and it's also on the company level. So that's basically about the setup. But then start working with the system. Well, let's use one of the accounts that I've used for this demo and try to find a very innovative name, Cloudteam Partners. And just seeing this screen that probably everyone is using for Salesforce, showing all the details of all transactions that are linked to this user. There are now a couple more coming with Asperato, which is actually the authorizations and the payment integration methods. Now, these are not required fields. They are only required if you want to automatically collect data as soon as you post a sales invoice. So if you leave them blank, you can still, let's say, create payment links or this Pay Now button or use the community. But if you really want to collect automatically the amount of money for the sales invoices by the authorizations they gave via credit card or direct debit, then you actually start to create an authorization on this account. So by just clicking authorization, you will be able to select the methods that you want to and that you are discussing with your customer. So, for example, the direct debit and a card. You put in some information about the customer, Cloudteam Partners. This is a customer and place it on a very nice place in Amsterdam. Dutch family name. Just need to complete the screen. And we'll put an email address for confirmation. Okay, so once this is created, and of course the currency, we'll use euro for this one. We save this authorization. And actually this authorization then is awaiting submission. So it means that the your contact person can now actually select and fill in details by just this link that can be sent to the contact person. And once this link has been sent, then actually the authorization can become in force. So this is just awaiting submission. It can be pending status whenever you send it, but I can directly process it from this screen. And what happens? It will open a kind of a page that will also be in the URL that has been selected, where you can now enter your card details. So this is just a demo card, it's not mine. This information can then be, let's say, completed on the by the contact person themselves. And either you can check or the direct debit information can be used. So this is actually what can still be used because I selected actually two payment methods. But for in this case, we selected the credit card. Press the update update of the authorization. As you can see, there will be a kind of a report back to the user that the authorization has been successfully finished. I can close the screen and I'll wait for the screen to be refreshed. As you can see, the authorization is now in place. So it means that actually now sales invoices can be directly becoming paid by just using the payment link that we have created. You see all the details that is part of this setup, and just going through the account back to the account. On the account itself, as mentioned by Nick, there's also the payment integration method. So if there are multiple payments being created, you can actually make a default payment integration now. So you can select them from the authorizations being set up for this account. So this was authorization 3, the supported provider. And here you can actually also link it directly to a bank account on which you want to receive the amount of money. And you can also leave it blank and it will pick the default bank account that is set on the company profile. Yeah, so back to the customer. I already prepared one sales invoice on this account. So this sales invoice, which is at the moment in the status in progress. As you can see, it's not posted, it's in progress. There are no things yet about payments or payment methods. I just can post now the sales invoice. The system will go away and check if there's an authorization that is active, if there's a payment integration method that has been used on this account. As we're waiting for the system to actually then complete the posting progress, a transaction of course will be created. But now also at the same time, the payment is created. As you can see, this payment for this invoice is now shown that there's actually a payment method linked to an Asperato reference. So you can see for the amount on a certain due date. And now this payment, the payment route is selected. Every detail is being taken from the authorization. I can now actually start adding it. Normally, what would happen is that a batch process would kick off to send out all these payment requests via Asperato and actually then collect the money from the customer. As you can see, the payment stage is now awaiting submission. Well, because it was a demo credit card, it will never happen. So I just now force that actually the information back from Asperato will come that it's collected from the customer. And I will save the payment stage. So this actually then triggers the second part, which actually will inform the system that the payment has now been officially took place. And if I'm going back to the sales invoice or directly to the matched payments, you would see actually that on the back of this changing this payment setting, just have to refresh the page. There will now also be a cash entry be created. So that's actually what Nick's also mentioned and shown on the config settings. is that you can now directly create cash matching. So the invoice itself has been identified as paid, and actually the whole process has now been completed just by this link that has been sent out to the contact person. As you can see, there's no payment link because that was not applicable for this invoice or this account, as it was actually already configured a kind of a credit card payment. So if we now doing the other methods, so just looking at a solution where there's no authorization method being created, and I'm using this very well-known Primatech customer, which is used in a lot of demos. Well, this Primatech doesn't have an authorization setup, so there's no automatic way of collecting the money. So if I'm going to another sales invoice for this type of customer, and it's on the sales invoice which is also not posted yet, then you will be able to see there that actually once I'm hitting the post button, that actually not a payment will be created, but actually the payment link and the Pay Now button will appear. So just waiting for Financial Force to refresh the screen. As you can see now, there's this payment link and there's this Pay Now button, with both, of course, will start at the same page on the screen. So this payment link can be sent out via an email. When you will email, for example, the PDF, you can incorporate the payment link in the email or even in the Conga invoice template. But if you want to take payments by phone, as Nick mentioned, you can also, as a back office account, you can use the Pay Now link. And that actually will open the same screen where the customer will be able to fill in their data or do it by phone. And then you can actually check if you want to pay by card and complete all the details and go to the end step. So that's actually similar, but then for each invoice, it needs to be done individually. Well, of course, it's easier to have everything as an authorization and use it actually for automatic collection. So that are the two methods that are being able being used by the internal people, but also the community is a very interesting point to also include now this payment link and this Pay Now button. So instead of sending it via the link, or you can still send it via the link, you can also, the customer can also use the community. And for that, unfortunately, the community was not active on this screen, so I need to stop sharing and show actually the PDF again in order the screenshots that I made to show the next step. So Stefan, yeah, the next slide, please. So this is actually a screenshot of a Financial Force community where a customer contact person can actually select the account details or the sales invoices or anything that you actually present to the customer from the Financial Force details. And if you go to the next slide, there will be sales invoices on this account. And as you see, it will open a list view of sales invoices. And in this case, there are all unpaid sales invoices based on filters that you will set. Now, there is the kind of a drop-down button on the right side next to the unpaid status. So if you click on that unpaid status, sorry, on the drop-down button, the next slide will actually show you which type of screen will pop up. So it will actually show the details of that invoice based on the information that has been presented on the community. And also the make a payment will show now this Pay Now image. So this is actually what has been defined on the custom settings in Financial Force. And just by pressing the Pay Now link, pops up directly the same page. If you press the screen, Stefan, it shows actually the same type of Asperato page where your contact person can complete it with information from direct debit, credit cards, whatever has been created as a payment solution in order to pay directly from the community this invoice. So yeah, all those three methods been really easy configured on Financial Force and maintained. So although it's part of the Cloudteam configuration, we really don't see that it's a hell of a job. So I think back to you, Pierre, for the last parts of the slide.
It's not me, it's my colleague, Matt, who's going, first of all, it's going to be Nick and then Matt, who's going to take care of that.
No problem. Thank you so much for that. That was really good just to see that inside Financial Force, you know, with the kind of the standard features exposed. And I think, you know, the real important thing here is to understand, you know, what's the impact of putting these two solutions together. And, you know, ultimately this is about a customer experience, you know, how easy it is for your customers to pay you promptly, to pay you without error. That's what's really key here. And, you know, that customer experience comes from lots of different things. It comes from the payment methods that you offer them. So how do they prefer to pay? Do they prefer to pay by card? Do they prefer to pay by direct debit? Do they want to pay in a certain currency? Do they want to pay, you know, even in certain languages? But it's also about, you know, the actual success rate and the comms that come out of that. And by putting it within the Salesforce platform, you're going to really be able to control that end-to-end journey. We've talked about the compliance and security, and everything that you saw just then, you know, that nobody's had to go near any code. So there's no kind of exposure there. And in all details, when we're capturing card numbers or account numbers, everything is tokenized. So we're not allowing any of our shared customers to store sensitive data within the Financial Force Salesforce solution. You've clearly got a single view of data. A single view of data means you don't have to log into separate systems. It means you don't have to go and look at the WorldPay dashboard or the Stripe dashboard. You can just sit in Financial Force and really see, you know, who's paid, what they paid, how they paid, whether it was Visa, MasterCard, direct debit, etc., what failed, what didn't fail, and you can act on that data. And that means that you can improve your business processes. So if you have a cumbersome arrears process, you can manage that. If you have a process that, you know, offers different payment methods based on how much the goods are that you're selling, you can automate that. So it really giving you a lot of control over those processes. It's known to reduce errors. It's tried and tested that everyone is using the shared technology. So you don't have that risk around custom built solutions. And you're able to reduce your costs. And you know, reducing cost it's a big statement. It's one lots of people make, but you know, cost within payment collection is seen in lots of different areas. It's seen in the raw processing costs of the gateways, the payment process that you choose, and we give you flexibility on that. It comes up in terms of the cost it is to create and implement some kind of payment integration into Salesforce, and that cost is both the initial and also the maintainable cost. And there's also the cost of inefficient processes and manual processes that are often seen when you get this kind of disjointed sort of flow between different departments within a business. So you know, we're really looking to make sure we can demonstrate and help you reduce those costs across those different areas. You know, ultimately this is about getting a better cash flow, you know, and that cash flow cycle, as we pointed out, you know, really should start right at the point when you're closing contracts. So if you're getting a contract signature through Conga, then, you know, why not also get a payment method saved against your account so that you can actually start invoicing and collecting money better. So we really urge people to think about that entire cash flow cycle and make sure that you can use payment collection across that journey, and that's what this should allow you to do. The best person to talk to you about success stories is our sales guy, Matt. Matt, really, I just want to, if you can to let the team know sort of, you know, where we're up to. We've got 12 months since Financial Force built this integration into Asperato to solve lots of these challenges. So it'd be good just to talk about, you know, one particular case study. There are lots more, but also just give a view of, you know, the types of businesses you're talking to and the sort of rate at which we're seeing people adopt this solution.
Thanks, Nick. Hi guys. We're obviously super excited about the partnership that we've got with Financial Force. Since we signed the agreement back in July last year, we've secured about 27 new projects. The businesses are completely different to one another. They range from subscription-based to traditional invoicing. But in all cases, the major driver or the compelling reason that Asperato is being introduced is to actually speed up the accounts receivable process. And this is really important in the current climate, when organizations are possibly struggling to pay their invoices on time. You can give them the option of adding a pay now button to the invoice and allowing customers to pay you in a way that's going to suit them. In terms of a simple use case and an example, here in the UK, we have an organization called Crunch Accounting. Ironically, they are an online accounting software business, and they use FinancialForce as their back office. One of the things that they wanted to do was actually streamline how they collected payment. They were doing traditional direct debit processing, which was tiresome, full of errors, and very time consuming. So they introduced Asperato, and it resulted in immediate business benefits. FinancialForce is in control of the entire payment collection journey. They can now add pay now buttons onto their invoices. They can automatically collect either via direct debit or recurring card payment. And they also got the automatic cash entry and cash matching, which is something that FinancialForce have built. So when speaking to them and asking about where have they seen major benefits, they mention every area of their organization, from cash collection to accounts receivable, being able to speak to the customer because all of the data is in the single source, and FinancialForce controls that complete journey. So Crunch is just one of many. In terms of the work that we're doing across the globe, we can collect multi-currency and multi-territory. So we're enabling organizations to enter into new territories as well, and being able to collect in multiple currencies should they need to.
Thank you, Matt. That's really, really, really helpful. So I think, just conscious on the time that everyone has here and leaving some time for some questions. So I'll probably hand back to Stefan for opening up to questions, and we can see what we can do to answer any that have come up.
Fantastic, thanks, Nick, and thanks, Ralph, Matt, and Pierre as well for the presentation. We do have a few questions that have come through, so I'll throw them out to the team, and whoever wants to jump in and can pick them up. The first one that came through was somebody asked on the authorizations. Is there a limit of authorizations that one single account can have?
I'm happy to pick that one up. It's Nick from Asperato. The answer to that is no. So, you might find that you've got against any one of your accounts, you might have a number of authorizations in place, which is why you can configure defaults against this, or you can have multiple. So you might find that if you've got somebody with lots of different company credit cards, individuals, you could be listing lots of different authorizations against that account too. No limit on that.
Fantastic. Next question is asking about customer refunds. How does the system handle customer refunds?
I'm happy to.
Let me jump in there.
Yeah, go on, Matt.
Yeah. So within Asperato, you can actually issue a refund. There is an object that you can actually use to issue a refund back to, let's say it's a card, back to that card. You don't have to take the card details again. In terms of updating FinancialForce, at the moment, that is a manual process that you would need to do to actually update the refund back into FinancialForce.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Matt. And the last question that came through the chat function was asking about partial payments and installments. If somebody wants to jump in on that one.
Yep, so within the documentation, there's actually guidance around whether you want to or not allow partial payment on invoice. So it's something you can restrict if you want to. And if you choose to restrict that, then it'll lock those payments against the full amount of the invoices. If you choose not to, then yes, it will allow your customer to make partial payments, and it will just match those partial payments against the invoices and leave that balance as an opening balance.
Fantastic, thanks Nick. That's all the questions that came through the chat function. We've got about 3 or 4 minutes left, so I'll quickly just open it up to the floor. If there's anybody on the call that wants to unmute themselves and ask a question, then please feel free to jump in now. As always, silence is golden. I think that means that you've all done a stellar job of walking through the solution and just how powerful it is. So I'd like to personally thank Matt and Nick and Pierre and Ralph for their time in presenting today's webinar. And thank you to everybody that's joined. Look out for the recording. And yeah, have a great afternoon. And we look forward to seeing everybody on our next webinar as well. Thank you very much, everyone.
Wonderful. Thank you.